Most players will step into an RPG game, such as Skyrim, steadfastly believing that they are good. However, what if we shake off that assumption and view Alduin outside of the paradigms of an antagonist? Could we say that, instead of the Dragonborn, Alduin should have won? Let us first begin by investigating Alduin's aims. But there are two ways of doing this. We can consider Alduin's aims as the entity, the World Eater, and his aims outside of that role. To provide some context, Alduin exists for a non-self-determined reason. The Elder Scrolls universe borrows much of its lore from Hinduism, such as the notion of kalpas. A kalpa is a cycle of time, extremely long periods of time, and it is Alduin's job to end each kalpa, hence the title of World Eater. It is Alduin's job to literally kill everyone and consume everything, to end the cycle and start it anew. But that Alduin is different to the one that we meet in Skyrim. This Alduin is a far weaker version that has usurped his normal role as a World Eater, and instead has his own personal aims. But that does not necessarily mean to say that it was positive for the universe that Alduin was defeated in Sovngarde by the Dragonborn. However, it is undeniable that in Skyrim, Alduin is hardly a morally good figure. He usurped his role as the World Eater, and using his diminished powers, he aims to conquer the world, bringing all mortal races under his thrall, and establishing a dragon resurgency. I mean, you only have to look at how the Nords lived under the dragon's yoke in Skyrim before the dragons were overthrown. Life was dismal. A select few humans, the dragon priests and their servants, ruled as tyrants, with the dragon's protection, extorting and abusing any who refused to acknowledge the dragons as their supreme overlords. The dragons themselves did as they pleased, imbuing their subjects with fear, and it is this state of affairs that led to the rebellion that saw Alduin banished, albeit temporarily. You may wonder how on earth one could argue that Alduin, with the aim of restoring that dismal way of life, should have won, but consider the possible ramifications of Alduin's death. Although the Dragonborn may not have absorbed Alduin's soul, as far as we know, the dragon is gone for the foreseeable future, leaving him unable to fulfill his role as the World Eater. So the world might exceed its natural time span beyond the Kalpa, if Alduin has been put out of action for a while by the Dragonborn defeating them in Skyrim, and this might have extremely dire consequences. To explain these dire consequences, I'm going to delve into a highly complicated and equivocal bit of lore that's been argued about by Elder Scrolls lore nuts for years. At its heart, the Elder Scrolls universe is a dream. There is someone called the Godhead who is asleep and dreaming the universe. If they wake up, the entire Elder Scrolls universe comes to an end. It has been said that unnatural mass changes to the fabric of the universe could trigger an awakening, and that is why some think those who achieved Chim or Kim being a state where one renders themselves a god, such as Talos, are and were limited in their power. The overuse of such power could be detrimental to the existence of the universe by waking the Godhead due to the unnatural nature of that power. So according to this logic, might a prolonged Kalpa, which may come about by Alduin's defeat in Skyrim, trigger an awakening and the end of the Elder Scrolls universe as we know it? Well, possibly, but also possibly not. As I mentioned before, Alduin's soul was not absorbed by the Dragonborn, so it could be that when the Kalpa reaches its natural end, Alduin will nonetheless swoop down on time and destroy it all. It could even be that Alduin's defeat was essential to the universe's survival. Maybe if the Dragonborn had not destroyed Alduin in his current form, the dragon would have become too infatuated with the world to eventually destroy it, leading to an overly extended Kalpa and the potential awakening of the Godhead. I think a much more convincing case for the protagonist not defeating the antagonist can be made for Morrowind, to be honest, and will be the subject of my next video. Dagothur should make for an interesting discussion because unlike Alduin, he genuinely believed that what he did was good for everyone. But to conclude with Alduin, I guess we will probably never know whether killing him was an ultimately good or bad idea. The Kalpa may not come to an end for hundreds or thousands of years, or alternatively, perhaps it's ended already and we just don't know it. But either way, I hope this video has proved useful, if not in providing definitive answers, into provoking you to reconsider the nature of Alduin and others' roles as antagonists. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos in Elder Scrolls lore, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would like to point out that I've done an in-depth, clear and concise video on explaining the Elder Scrolls universe and concepts such as the Godhead in a previous video, so please feel free to check that out. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank my patrons, they really do help me out. Anyway, thanks again and I'll see you in the next one.